Hi, I wanted to describe certain capabilities of DataWalk in terms of making links. So there are multiple situations in which direct connection between two sets is completely impossible. So this situation might happen when you have a person and vehicle, for example. So vehicles themselves do not their ownership changes in time. Also, what happens is you may have multiple different owners, or you may have multiple different people that drives that car, and it's difficult to connect the directly person to vehicle data set. In those terms, the data walk more is comparable with semantic web tools than property graph. To overcome that problem, you should introduce ownership type of set. So I've introduced one. So let me show you how those relations might work. So in this situation, the ownership the data set contains several columns. One is a type of ownership. From to is a temporal information. Also, this type of structure you use for changed in time relations. You have DL, so that's driving license, and plate, which so driving license connects a person, plate connects the user. So if you load the data sets from the external source, you should have this type of set. And then the connection is fairly simple. You just basically drag that here, and the connection is based on the numeric value. And we are comparing DL with DL. Let's call the connection DL. And then between vehicles and vehicle set, and we are comparing numeric values as well. In this situation, we're comparing plate with tags. So this is sort of one way of doing it. And now, if you want to have direct connection between the person and the vehicle, you can add additional connection directly, which is called indirect connection, which will use your DL connection and your plate connection, and you will call it in this situation is on. In this situation is relates. Okay, so we have that. And now you can go directly from person to vehicles through that. So you can see that there is zero connections because none of the data matches. So let me check that. One, two, three. So let me change that to. Sorry, let me change that to folder. Edit. 2, 3, 4. I guess. I think that was the data over there. So now when I changed it, and if I remember what was the relationship over there, then my connection should happen. So I should have 4 connected to 1 and connected to 1. So I have one person connected to one vehicle, and that person is Christian Pieko, which I just changed. So this is one way of doing this. So that's the way how you can do direct link between the person and the vehicle through the intermediate that is going to store the relation and changes in time of that relation. So now what you can do, you can also massage this rule, and you can provide here allow manual. So let me show you what allow manual is going to do. So when you allow manual, what will happen is this. I can open that person on the link chart. So Christian Pieko is going to be visualized on the link chart. And now I can load my vehicles based on the relates. If I do that, the funny thing will happen. Basically, what you can see the D over here, and what's D is basically your object. So so I can open my folder, and what happens is this is the intermediate object that we just created. So from that point of view, I can also, for example, change that to owner uh, to mm, uh, to driver. If I do save, the relation has changed to driver. By the way, you can also change the labels. You can change the way how it's visualized. You can also change the direction. If you want to, you can basically do arrows, and you can change the directional, that you can make it directional if you want to. So that's the one way of doing it. D means that this is with an object in between. Then what happens is, let me show you that you can also create additional things. So if I add new object, I'm going to add it to the vehicles, and I know that Christian Pieko owns another vehicle. It will be make it's Kia Soul. Tax will be 909. Color is red. If I save it, that vehicle will appear on the canvas, and now I can link that Kia. And by the way, let me manage the change the labels. We're going to make additional label with combined column, separator column, and it will be make space model, and maybe separator. Yeah, that will be. And underneath will be tags, and maybe color. Let me just do that. And separator. I want this over here and over here. I don't need that. Here, and maybe let's do color as well. Just, yep, it's called label. This is global option, so that option will appear for every person, every user of the system. So system has created the new column. Let me use it as a, yep, so you can see how that works. So now what I can do, I can link directly Christian with Kia Soul, and you know that there is uh, no additional parameter that I can do that. So if I do so, a system asks me to choose one of the connections. If there are many, they can be met. There can be many. I have to choose relates, and because that relates is with an object in between, I have to fulfill that formula. So let me change that formula a little bit. If I go to my settings, go to sets editor, choose vehicles ownership, I can change the type into enumeration. And now I can define the value like owner, driver, uh, mm, owner, driver, buyer, whatever, save. And now what will happen, if I drag the same link, I can also, now I can choose from my list what are the available options. So what is also very much important is that there is a way to create those columns as required. And this is described in settings manual. So you can basically require that all those fields are fulfilled. So now you can see there's a D, and yep, we have owner, and that's basically the way how that works. So then again, let me add additional object, and let me connect people. So I'm going to add person, and I'm going to add John Doe, and driving number is this. So there's John Doe. It's very important that in DataWalk, which you can do also, you can connect people, you can connect object manually. So to connect object manually, you can do that you can create a connection, and you can say that this is connection without rule, and it will be linked relation. The name doesn't matter, but I'm showing you an example here. So if you do that, the link will be created. The link has no rules, and the link can be used on the link chart. So if I drag that, I can use link relation, and you can see this M. M means that the link was created manually. So there are links that are created automatically. There are links that are created manually, and you can basically visualize that. Uh, Connection labels, and yeah, so manually. Also, certain implementations require that people relation is also changing time. So two people might be uh, two people might be um, related as basically friends, but after a while then might be foe or something. So for that you can use exactly the same thing as here. So let me create new set using settings. I'm going to create that set manually. So I'm going to add set called relationship. And now let me save it. Set is created. And now I'm going to add column called type. And because I need to specify the type of relationship, so let me call it friend, employer, employee, whatever. And I'm going to save that column. The next column is from, data type is date, and sorry, it's not calculated column standard. And the next one is 2. So there the type of connection, and then from 2, so the time when that connection has happened. So if I go back to my universe viewer, reset it, I should see additional set created, which is called relationship. So let me go back in here. So this is my relationship. Let me change the icon, and it's going to be org. Yes, let me change it to that. And now I'm going to create connection, which in this situation will be creation without rules, called relationship or relation. And I'm also going to create add connection. I'm also going to create additional connection, which is indirect connection. Sorry, I'm going to also create additional connection in here, which is indirect connection between relation and relation. And I'm going to call it relationship or relates to. And allow manual. So in this situation, when I go to back to my link chart, I can remove this connection, and I'm going to create new connection. You can see there are multiple options. So I can say multiple of direct links or one of the following. So I'm going to do relate to, and now I'm going to check automatically. I'm asked about that this is my friend, and since February 19th, and I'm still the friend with that person. So let me just save it. And this is the type of relation. So basically what happens is, again, if you want to create many-to-many connections, or connections that changes in time, the only way of doing it is via the intermediate set. And I just showed you uh, how you can impose on users the certain fulfilling certain data when they're providing the manual connection. Hope that helps.